We are a business development company with disciplines to help our clients grow. The best of strategy, communications, technology, with connections to a network of partners. As we work to uncover what make our clients amazing, we combine these disciplines in unmatched ways to create meaningful opportunities. We are Thinker. Move your business forward.
Welcome to the first edition of Midwest Manufactured Live, where we tell the stories of great manufacturers, and today with 425 Manufacturing, sponsored by Thinker, a business development company. And I'm Jason Todd, Managing Director of Thinker and publisher of Midwest Manufactured. I'm excited to be here today. Now again, Midwest Manufactured tells the stories of great manufacturers, how they got started, their challenges, their opportunities, the lessons, what they're doing to grow and expand, how they're finding talent, and some of the struggles that they've been through, and how they've overcome those things. Now, before we get our initial guest here on the video cast, we actually have a corporate appreciation gift box reveal from Poopsies.com that you'll want to stick around to the end of the broadcast to find out what is in that box. But today, first, Mike Thomason from 425 Manufacturing. Now, you started this business in 2015 with your wife. You are a leading supplier of aftermarket drill parts and blast hole industry products.
Yep, we do manufacturing all over the realm. I guess I'll start, our history's a little complicated. I worked for my family for 20 years. So ran Thomason Machine Works with my dad and my brother. Never got along real good with the brother. Never really had an end game. And kind of got to the point when everything went down that we broke off to do our own thing. I started out with a little bit of seed money, and I took $18,000 worth of inventory, our drill rig inventory, because I was the only one that really knew much about the drill rig and mining. Thomason did header and roll thread stuff for Rockford, which is the screw capital of the world.
Yeah.
And so I ended up doing a 6-year no-compete to basically keep me out of the roll thread and header industry, which was fine. So I took my $18,000 and drill rig mining parts, and we're about 3.5 years in now, and we have about $750,000 in inventory in drilling and mining right now. Quick little thing, I started out in a shop just like tons of kids in Rockford. One day I was pushing a broom and making a rubber band gun on the saw, on the bandsaw, and the next day I'm running machine parts.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's unlike lots of kids that have grown up in the shop. I have a 21-year-old son and a 16-year-old boy, and they've both grown up in the shop too. So
So you're passing this kind of the legacy along as well.
I am. So it was maybe for me it was kind of a failed second generation thing. But how many businesses fail in the third generation?
Yeah.
It's just not an easy thing to do.
Something like 97%.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. So it is what it is.
Now walk us through this drill rig or mining and blast hole drilling industry in Rockford. This is right. Totally new to me. It might be new to many of our listeners as well.
Yep.
Why Rockford, and why mining and blast hole industry?
So we have customers all over the United States, but actually Rockford, if you look at gravel quarries, there's a lot of components. Most of the rigs that we do parts for are Atlas Copco, which is now Epiroc. Okay. We've actually had Epiroc into our facilities a good half dozen times in the 3 years that we've been in business. So they've kind of knocked on our doors and talked about numerous things.
So that blast hole drill is when you're going into a quarry, they drill down and they put the charge in. Is that?
Yep. So basically, they're drilling probably no more than 100 foot, 6 lengths of pipe, and then putting the charge in. So blast hole drilling is actually aggregate.
Okay.
So for gravel and rock.
Yeah.
Coal. So we have a lot of customers in Pennsylvania that coal. In Illinois and in northern Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, a lot of frac sand.
Oh, okay.
So sand is made for glass, and sand is made for the fracking industry for gas.
Yeah.
So the great thing is we're really not related to gas and oil, because people are like, oh, mining, oh, gas and oil, that's scary stuff. So we've sold to, we have a big customer in New Guinea that does gold. We have customers that do diamond, so diamond, gold, coal, aggregate, just everything. And then in the Northeast, everything they do to put roads in the mountains and the hills, I mean, you're blasting just to put a road through.
So walk us through, what kind of parts do you make for this industry?
So we make all the front end parts on the drill. So our customers came to us, and most of these guys are very mechanical. I mean, they're working on the drills every day. They have a Bridgeport in the shop or a little lathe for turning something at home. So they're smart enough to make a block or a screw or something like that. And then they're going to go to a ma and pa shop. And any ma and pa machine shop can make a block with a hole in it, or any farmer with a Bridgeport, wintertime, they need something to do, they're going to make machine parts for industry or whatever in their spare time. Mm-hmm. So what we found, we kind of found a home in that, but we also, with all the engineering and manufacturing that I've done over 20 years, we have CNC machining centers, CNC turning centers, CMM. We started reverse engineering the high dollar stuff.
Okay.
The $5,000 parts, the $7,000 parts, the $3,000 parts.
What do you reverse engineering?
So this is all the front end stuff on the drills.
Okay.
So nothing to do with the tractor, nothing to do with the tracks.
Okay.
Just the slides, the up and down slides. Okay. Every time they change drill pipe, they have breakout tables to grab the pipe, change the pipe, loosen the pipe. We design jaws that are unlike any breakout table jaws in the United States. We sell all over the world, but the slides and the plastic, and then the rod changer, and then also they have a floating sub. So when they're drilling, they have kind of a sub that floats and takes the absorption of all the drills. So there's a seal set, and there's a $7,000 piston in there, and there's like a $8,000 housing. And we can do that for half the price and still make plenty of money. Yeah.
And these, so you said these are components unlike other people are manufacturing. Now,
all right, a block's a block. Other shops are making some stuff, because anybody can make that. But
how did you come across this idea of making something that nobody else is manufacturing?
Well, kind of how it worked when I was at Thomason, we were just starting to do it, and basically we started the website, started putting it on the web, and people on the web just get it all over. So we've really built around the website, and the bread and butter now is the expensive stuff. Is taking something. I had these pistons I want to do, and I asked my customer. A lot of times my customer was giving me samples and saying, make this, make that, make this, and we kind of seen how they'd ordered 6. Well, then 3 months later, they'd ordered 6 again. They ordered 6 again. Yeah. So the whole thing started by, well, why don't we make a dozen and just have them on the shelf? And then that gives your guys a little bit of pad time when they're slow. And I asked my good customer, I said, can I make this $7,000 piston I can do for $4,000? Will you buy one? No, I'll buy it when I'm ready for it.
Okay.
When I'm ready, I'll buy it. Yeah. I'm like, well, it's a $4,000 piston. Oh, I'll buy it someday. Yeah. So we went ahead and said, okay, we're going to make 3 of these $4,000 pistons, $12,000. Got them made, had them ready like a day. Customer calls up, says, I'll take all 3.
Nice.
And I'm like, all 3? I mean, I've been a year and a half. I wanted to make one.
You to get one.
Yeah. And he's like, well, we're down, so we need one. The second rig's on kind of its last leg, so we need 2. And the boss said, let's not do this again. Let's. So now it's 4, and now it's 8, and now it's 12. Yeah. And
so that's just been organic growth. Now you started this. Your wife and you were starting this, and as I understand, you had maybe another employee at the time. You had 3 people?
No. A funny story with my wife. We had kind of quit out of the blue, and just quit my job with my family. Yeah. Didn't know what we were doing. Had a couple people come and say, well, if you ever start anything, we're there for you. So then we decided, okay, I actually started a resume. I put my resume out, talked to a couple headhunters, and I'm like, can I make what I was making? Can I keep the wife? Can I keep the kids? The car? Do I, are I going to have to give them all away?
Were you going to
repossess them?
pawn the kid?
Yeah, I didn't know if we could afford the kids or not.
Rent the child for a while?
Yeah, so the headhunter, they're like, yeah, you got skills, you could manage this, you could go to places and do. I'm like, okay. So then I talked to the wife. I said, do we want to start a shop? I mean, there's a good possibility that we could possibly be real profitable, and
because you knew what you were going to do
and live the dream.
You knew how to make these products and come up with new solutions.
We did. We didn't know where we would be at in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So the wife said, do I come work for you? And I said, well, do you want a paycheck? And she said, yeah. I said, well, then I would get a job somewhere. So she went to an accounting firm, which she had done for 20 years, actually, for our family business. And she worked 1.5 years for another accounting firm, for Lusher and Associates. And after 1.5 years, we had 10 people, I think, and she came
Things
back.
are going great. It's time to bring her in?
Time to bring her in. Yeah. So we started out with myself. We started selling parts out of the garage. And she was, why don't we actually was selling stuff out of the garage. She's like, why do we need a shop?
Yeah.
And I started farming out because I've done this in Rockford all my life. And I've used other shops for overflow and this and that. And the question is, why do you even need a shop? Well, I can't bring Greenlee or somebody into my garage and say, I really do it all behind the computer.
So you needed a place to bring bring customers in so that you could get bigger, better customers, give them some sense of stability. And that was kind of organic.
We did. So when we started, we literally started with $85,000, and we had one machining center, one turning center, one manual mill, one manual lathe. And that was about it. I mean, a drill press, some hand tools, and it. I was, the first couple weeks I was stealing Wi-Fi from the neighbors.
Yeah.
I had pictures of my computer. I had a desk set up right by the door so I could get Wi-Fi from the neighbors.
So you had customers right out of the gate, or you had to go find your customers?
I had about a half dozen drilling and mining customers.
Okay.
And
people that you had known from previous life.
And I did a lot, previous life, and I brought them with, and I had the no compete in the fastener industry, which is what I spent my life in.
Sure.
I mean that's everything I knew.
But you thought so now you're in a new industry that you're not under no compete, but you have these contacts that then you leveraged into starting kind of not bootstrapping. I mean, 85,000 isn't bootstrapping,
right?
But very basic setup
and
that
actually,
you could just deliver some products.
Before I did food industry stuff, and I do a lot for Motion Industries. Motion Industries has like 5 outside guys, and they do belts and bearings and hoses and everything. But when they need other machine shop stuff, they would come to me.
Yeah.
While when I was sitting at home deciding whether I'm going to get rid of the kids or go get a job or work at McDonald's, one of them called me and said, we sat down, the 5 of us. And if you're doing anything, you got all 5 of us.
That is awesome.
So I'm like, thank you.
So fast forward now, you're 3.5 years into this thing, which is it's a short period of time for being in business, but you've grown significantly. How many employees do you have now?
We have 17 employees.
17.
We just did last year. We did $2.25 million in sales.
Wow.
So it's pretty good.
And you're breaking out from. It's my understanding you're breaking out from mining and blast hole drilling industry into new and varied things. What are you doing?
My wife is very conservative. Very accounting backed. Very on paper and accounting. And she wants 50% of everything to not be anything to do with mining and drilling.
Okay.
So we have.
And why is that?
The diversified risk, I guess. Yeah. I see the other things as we do. I see it as like the $60 an hour thing. I mean, a lot of shops in Rockford will say, we have a $60, $70 an hour rate. So we look at Greenlee and Fairbanks Morse and these other food industry stuff in Rockford. And if we can't compete at $60 an hour, then there's another 50
that's just
machine
kind
shops.
of general machining.
Just general machining, CNC turning, CNC milling, manual milling, stuff like that. It's just, you're competing against Rockford. I mean, you can throw a baseball anywhere in Rockford and hit a machine shop. And
20 minutes and then.
And you didn't know that, there's one in every garage too. So we're doing the food industry. I taught my wife into a 3D printer, and we've been doing 3D printing actually right off the bat.
Yeah. So walk us through this. This I going from the mining and blast hole drilling industry to then this, which looks like a prosthetic arm. Walk us us real quickly what that is about.
All right. With the mining and blasting, we ended up hiring an engineer and doing a lot of reverse engineering.
Okay.
So we're taking manufactured OEM parts and making them aftermarket identical. So that's where the CMM and the engineering comes in. Well, with the engineering, I have an engineer that if I don't have parts for him to reverse engineer, then he's sitting around fiddling his fingers.
Okay.
So we started doing 3D printing.
Yeah.
It's really good for prototyping and for doing other stuff. And so to get us better and to print on a daily basis, we need stuff to print. Both of my engineers are pretty much geeks. They both had 3D printers at home.
The best kind of engineers are geeks.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So one of them, it's not Comic-Con, but or Dungeons and Dragons. But,
Sure,
but
yeah.
he was just doing that last weekend, and so that's a good thing.
So you're taking parts that you think you can reverse engineer, and then you're gonna just machine them or manufacture them.
Right.
In this case, not machining these parts. You're gonna
No,
you're
this
gonna 3D
is all 3D printed. So
Okay.
this is out of a PLA 3D filament,
Okay.
and it took us a while to get it perfectly right. We've been printing for like 3 years, and actually we didn't realize that our printer needed some TLC.
Yeah.
I mean, so we went through, and the neat thing about printing this is you have to be perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
everything has to be
Yep.
great. So we got our first prosthetic done. We went to a place called Enable.
Okay.
This is called the Cyborg Beast. So this is open source.
Okay.
Open source.
Open source prosthetics.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Anybody can get it. Anybody can do it.
You're 3D printing them, and then people can come to you to get this
Yeah,
manufactured.
so then we had to
specifically
go
for
to Enable, and we sent the video into Enable, and we had it working. Actually, we just unstrung it because we
Yeah.
were like 10 degrees off stringing it, so it was working and doing
Yeah.
that. But we went to Enable. Enable gave us a badge and said, "You're good. You're on the website. So you guys are ready to start printing prosthetics." So this would be, hopefully for somebody locally, anywhere from 6 to 18 years old that can't afford prosthetics. So we plan to do a couple a year at least. Right now we're 3D printing a housing prototype for somebody. We're 3D printing some food processing gears that we are actually going to machine and completely do the machining on with the CNC machining center, the rotary head, and it's kind of a worm gear type mixer for a food industry in Rockford.
Really?
But we actually looked into PLA, or it's not PLA, but it's FDA approved material, and we checked it with a durometer tester, which is a hardness tester for plastic, and literally the weight and the size and everything is perfect compared to our sample. So instead of just 3D printing a sample to make sure it works, they're going to test them and run them,
Yeah.
and they sure look like they ought to last, and then that would be what you call additive manufacturing.
Okay.
So if we can 3D print these, I have an order for 40 right now. As soon as they approve the first two, then we're either going to machine them or we're going to 3D print them, and it would be awesome to set the printer up at night and walk in the next morning, have 4 of them ready to go.
No, that's very cool. So from drilling and mining to 3D printing prosthetics, and then kind of anything in between, you're reverse engineering, putting together plans for how you can you can produce products that people need. Now, so lead us out here. Our time's running a bit short, but lead us out here with what's one lesson that you've kind of taken away from this young startup, 3.5 years old, into the successful company. What's one great lesson?
Let your employees do their own thing to a point. I don't micromanage. We went from 1 to 17 pretty fast.
Yeah,
we're working on growth. My 21-year-old son came in at 18, and he's taken our fab department. We're putting planes on poles. We're putting a Hawker 700, which is a 14 or like a 12-person business jet on a pole in front of SC Aviation. We may be putting a F4 Phantom on a pole. We ran a Hawker down the Rock River Raft Race last year. We have a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
We let our guys do their own thing. Markets, we broke into 5 or 6 markets. We're actually breaking our websites into 3 different websites. So we have 425 Manufacturing, 425 Drill Rig Parts, and 425fab.com.
So that's a really great lesson. Now, this idea of letting your employees do what they want to a point.
To a point.
is pretty profound. Now, as as I promised our viewers at the beginning of this broadcast, we're going to unveil the Poopsies.com corporate appreciation gift box. Now, a quick story. Now, I'm really bad at appreciation.
Okay.
Because I kind of get just in the zone and
Right.
just doing my thing,
Right.
And it's not that I don't want to be appreciative. I am very appreciative. I just
Absolutely.
don't have a really great way of expressing it, which is certainly something I should probably get better at. But I was talking with my friend there at Poopsies, and
Okay.
she shipped me a box.
All right. Ah! Whoa. Good job.
She shipped me the Poopsies.com corporate appreciation box. Now, the cool thing about Poopsies is that you can call them up, and this is hands-off shopping. You tell them what you're kind of interested in, who you're shopping for, and then they'll ship it to you. Now, she shipped me some stuff here. She shipped me some socks because she knows me well. These are shops.
Not
Socks. Socks of a guy chopping down a tree, because that's what business is like, right?
Yeah,
It's this
absolutely.
massive tree, just taking one chop out at a time.
Everybody needs socks. I mean, I got some on right now.
That's true. I have socks on too. She got me these other. She got me these other socks here. I'm gonna get stuff. I'm gonna get stuff done
Ish.
later. That's pretty cool. She knows me so well. And then she was shopping around for a magnet, and she couldn't find the right kind of magnet for me. And then she stumbled across it, and this says, "Oh my God, salted caramel brownies." And she shipped that to me. You can find this actually on their website. Pretty fun product. So if you have, this is maybe an opportunity for you to show appreciation to your
Absolutely, to our
your
employees. Yeah, we do a lot. I mean, there's a lot of food, but corporate swag is always a good thing.
corporate swag is always a good thing, and
absolutely.
Poopsies.com makes it easy with hands-off shopping. Well, Mike, this has been a pleasure having you on the broadcast today. This is the inaugural edition of Midwest Manufactured Live,
Okay.
which replays at MidwestManufactured.com, also on YouTube. Now, how would people get in contact with you if they need something manufactured?
Just literally 425mfg.com, or pretty easy, Mike at 425mfg.com. Don't get much easier than that. And Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, I'm a marketing guy that gets to run a machine shop, so
Yeah.
So we should be easy to find on the web.
Well, there you go. This is Midwest Manufactured Live. I am Jason Todd, sponsored by Thinker. We will see you next time.